Hi, I hope it works. Welcome to Module 6. I'm happy you are here. I want to say a few words about the last module. I'm really happy to see how engaged you are in the comments, answering the open questions. I chose to address open questions because I think it's more meaningful for your learning process, and also sharing the experience and the knowledge you have with the others help them, and also you can read others comments so you can also learn from them. Yes, so that being said, this module will also have open questions in the end. Some of them will be addressed during the live, and some of them will be addressed after on the platform. You are, as the last time, asked to answer them in the comments. I'm really happy to see that you are doing it. And let me know, and let us know actually, if you think it's a good way to process what it's delivered to you by us. Okay, so I want to share with you my presentation now. Okay. Today we are talking about assessed mapping, mostly community assessed mapping. So we will touch the following content. How do we define community? What is assessed mapping? And getting and keeping young people engaged in the services. We will start with how do we define community. The concept of community is understood differently from person to person, based on experiences and feelings people get from being part of a community. Communities are organized mostly based on living areas, interests, workplaces, and so on. People in a community usually share the same interests or values, and this is what brings and keeps them together. It's very important. And also, every person is part of multiple communities, and those communities can be linked or can reflect different interests a person has. So, for example, I am part of my youth club, local youth club community, but I am also part of the swimming community that there is in my town. The two communities are not linked in any way other than me being a member in the two of them. Because, as said in the beginning, community is understood differently. Here is the first question. I will leave the discussion open for you to give your input. So you have the floor. Please answer in the comments. How would you define a community? What does a community need to have for you to feel as being part of, to feel a member of the community? Yeah, I'm excited to see your answers. Okay, moving on. We will talk about what is assessed mapping, and we have a more broad, not definition, but yeah, mostly definition, and also one that points out different aspects, important aspects. So it refers to the process of getting information about a community in order to find solutions for the needs of its members. So we have a community, we have needs of the community, and basically assessed is getting information about the community to fulfill those needs. And also the other one is members of a community along with other entities interested identify qualified people and structures such as institutions or organizations that can help creating a meaningful service project for the members of the community. So here we have basically the same thing, but it is pointed out that the getting information part is made also by the members of the community with other entities interested. Those entities can be other people or local authorities or whatever, whoever is interested. And also is important to identify qualified people and structures so the service provided is meaningful and fulfills the needs of the members of the community. In other words, assessed mapping is writing down only the positive aspects of people and structures which can be resourceful for a service developed based on the needs of a community. Simple words, key concepts that we talked about before and you already have the knowledge about. So it's not that hard to understand it. Okay, the process of community assessed mapping, it's pretty simple, but there are a few key elements that we need to keep in mind and use them to their fullest potential. So we have the members or the individuals that need to be open to give their knowledge, experience, skills, and mostly time in order to advocate for changes that need to be done. Now here, it's not only advocating for the changes, but it's also being part of the change. And then we have formal and informal structures. And here are the institutions such as schools, youth clubs, churches, leisure time centers, libraries, sports clubs, whatever. Also, we have organizations, youth maybe led organizations, or any type of organizations that can be resourceful for the assessed mapping process. And also we have the informal groups. And here we have an example, reading clubs. They can be whatever informal groups there are inside the community. Now, while identifying the previous aspects, it is recommended to map, of course, them in a way that help you make connections between them. I attached 2 examples, but believe me, if you go and search assessed mapping or community assessed mapping, you will find many, many, many more examples. There is not a map that is that suits every need. So it's really important when developing a map to make it your own. So it fits your service, it fits the needs of the community, it fits what you need. You can take one for good and work on it, but then make sure you develop your own. And it's really important to include the individual or the member of the community with anything he or she can offer. And here, as said before, we are talking about skills, knowledge, time, whatever. Then you have organizations or associations here in the examples. That you also have to write down what their target groups are, what resources they have, what people they also have, and then you can go back to individual. And then you have local institutions, the ones mentioned before, that also can give an input to your mapping. Okay, moving on. We will talk about attracting young people in services. So, as said before, let me rewind a bit just to make sure. Here we have we talked about a service developed based on the needs of the community. So those services those services need young people involved, and this is how 4 of the many ways there are to attract young people in services. So it's really important to make them aware of the service and its importance for development of the community. And linked to that, explaining why community development is key on the personal development and well-being side, it's also really important. Young people know that they have to develop themselves, especially nowadays when the world is changing minute by minute. Young people need to keep up. Everyone needs to keep up, but especially young people need to keep up with the changes, so they have to develop themselves. And they also need to be aware that developing a community they are part of will help develop themselves. So we need to explain them this aspect. Also, the third point, it's important to take their resources as being valuable and irreplaceable by any other resource there is. Young people have resources that other age groups don't. And maybe here we can talk about time and energy and knowledge, or whatever you want. You know better from your experience, and they need to feel that those resources are valuable for the community development. So make sure you make them feel like that. And if possible, it's also suggested to engage them in the mapping process so they have a taste of what's to come. And also, if young people are involved from the beginning, they will tend to stay for a while until they don't find their place there anymore. Okay. And after we attract young people, usually we have to also keep them. So now we will talk about keeping them engaged in services. So it's not only keeping them in services, it's keeping them engaged, so active, proactive, and so on. It's important to create the space to share experience and thoughts from the services. I think nowadays, me also being really young, I feel and I taste the importance of sharing experiences, thoughts, stories, whatever there is. I feel like sharing all the time. So creating a space, even if it's physical or just groups, just say we have a meeting to talk about this. and we talk about it, it's meaningful for young people, and this will keep them engaged in services. They will keep being there just because they can share, they can talk about what they are doing and what is happening to them, and how, of course, they develop, because we talked about personal development. Okay, and as said before, the importance of here we have the point 3, yeah, the importance of their resources as being valuable and irreplaceable. Sorry, we have to keep making them feel valuable and give them a purpose in the service. So all the time we have to make sure that they feel like their place is there in the service, and they can give their input all the time, and their work and their knowledge and their input is valuable and is respected. And also the last point, it's important for young people to realize how the community developed after or through the service. So we should show and analyze with them this development. And maybe also think about future actions, because bright ideas come all the time. Now, to finish this short presentation, I really want you to remember this. Only positive aspects of individuals and structures together will help a community to develop. That being said, thank you. I will go back to, here. I want to say my goodbye with my face there. Thank you for being here. All the questions will be uploaded on the platform. Please make sure you answer them there in the comments. Longer answers, shorter answers, as you wish, as long as they show exactly what you want them to show. Also, in the presentation, I will make sure I include my contact details, because this is my last session. So in case you have questions or you want more details about something, please feel free to contact me. I will be more than happy to help you and to be there for you, or just write on the platform. I will answer. Thank you for being here, and see you around, I guess. And enjoy the rest of the course. It gets interesting, more interesting actually, because until now it was interesting, I know. Okay, see you.